Anime-influenced animation produced in the West is anime. Anime is an internationally produced medium like animation itself, a research essay. The line between anime produced in Japan and anime-influenced animation produced in the West has blurred. This means that any animation with any influence from the design of Japanese anime is anime, whether produced in Japan or by Japanese individuals or not. Anime is now an internationally produced medium that is a popular one and beloved worldwide. Its audience has grown in the United States since the 1960s. The definition of anime itself here in the West is specifically animation with the style of animation native to Japan. In Japan and in Japanese, anime is a term that refers to all animated works. By this definition, Western animations such as Frozen or SpongeBob SquarePants are considered to be anime in Japan. Art styles of anime vary, but they all have the same foundations. These are large and specifically stylized eyes, vibrant hair, and, depending on the art style, relatively realistic body proportions of humans aside from the face. The following quote in Anime's Footprint Grows as Digital Network Debuts by Lee Hill summarizes the visual design of anime and the history of its accessibility in the United States. Produced by animation studios in Japan, anime is an art form easily recognized by its characters' large, prominent eyes. The genre sprang up after World War II but did not really penetrate the American market until 1967 with the debut of Speed Racer in syndication. Hill. Anime-influenced Western-produced animation has been created for decades, as far back as the 1980s. The 1982 animated film The Last Unicorn is a retro example of this. It was produced by Rankin Bass Productions, ITC Films, and Topcraft, and is based on the book of the same name by Peter S. Beagle. The influence of anime is seen on the art style of the film's main character, the Unicorn / Lady Amalthea. The film's dialogue and story was developed by Rankin Bass, and the film's animation was done in Japan at Topcraft. After becoming bankrupt and split in half, Topcraft would later become Studio Ghibli, a famous animation studio in Japan known worldwide for its films. As stated in The Last Unicorn's incredible connection to Studio Ghibli by Alison Stahlberg, the film is not technically anime nor a Studio Ghibli piece, but it is part of the backstory of one of the most famous animation studios in the world, Stahlberg. Because of this, the film could be considered anime now because it is an anime-influenced animation. Technically, because it was produced in both the West and Japan, the film is an anime that is a co-production. The definition of co-production is discussed later. After its popularity grew over several decades in the West, anime has influenced its Western audience. Many Western creators are inspired by it when pitching their own animated intellectual property. How easy is it for Western creators to create their own anime and pitch it to a studio? The answer seems to be that it is something that is achievable and will continue to be for more Western creators. Many Western anime and anime-influenced titles have been pitched and created within the past 2.5 decades, such as some of the following titles. Some anime-influenced Western animation has visual design and aesthetics that are inspired by and very similar to anime while simultaneously having much Western influence within it. 4 examples of this are Cartoon Network's The Powerpuff Girls and Hi Hi Puffy Yami Yumi, and Disney's The Owl House and Turning Red. The 3 main characters in the Powerpuff Girls, who are the title trio, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, have an art style that is similar to that of the chibi art style originating from Japan. In this style, characters are drawn in an exaggerated and deformed way, with large eyes, oversized heads, few details, and small bodies. The 3 characters have all of these. Powerpuff Girls' popularity and Japanese influence also extended it to having a spin-off anime television series based on it and produced in Japan, Powerpuff Girls Z. In this series, Blossom's, Bubbles, and Buttercup's eyes look almost identical to that of their eyes in the original series, being slightly smaller on their anime counterparts. The style of Hi Hi Puff Yami Yumi is anime and Japanese influence with Japanese speech, J-pop music, and its characters having anime-styled eyes and vibrant hair. Its Japanese influence also includes its 2 main characters being fictionalized in animated versions of the Japanese pop-rock duo Puffy Yami Yumi. The duo have songs in the series' soundtrack and appear in live-action clips throughout the series. While both the Powerpuff Girls and Hi Hi Puffy Yami Yumi have some characters in their cast whose designs are Western influence, the Japanese influence is prominent in both series with the aforementioned designs of the main characters and other elements. Because of this, the 2 series could be considered anime in a sense. Disney Television Animation's 2020 television series, The Owl House, is a recently released example of a Western showrunner taking inspiration from anime when pitching and overseeing a Western-produced animated television series. As stated, an SVA alumnus, Dana Terrace, talks about showrunning Disney's The Owl House by Emma Drew. The creator of the series, Dana Terrace, was inspired by both Western media and anime when creating it. Mortal beings mixed with magical ones is a familiar YA trope, and Terrace and her team, including staff writer Molly Knox Ostertag, a BFA 2014 cartooning graduate, have drawn inspiration from a variety of sources, from the Japanese fantasy film Princess Mononoke to British author C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia books, Drew. A common design element on the eyes of anime characters are a specific circle of a highlight that are each on the same location on each eye. This is something that appears on several characters in the Owl House. Pixar Animation Studios and Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures 2022 film Turning Red is a recently released example of a Western director taking inspiration from anime when pitching and directing a Western-produced animated film. Turning Red is an anime-influenced film that looks very similar to Japanese-produced computer-animated anime such as Lupin the Third the First. As discussed in How Boy Bands and Anime Inspired Pixar's magical must-see Turning Red by Tracy Brown, when directing and selecting designs from this film, Dami Shi was inspired by several anime. Anime was a huge inspiration for the look of this movie, for the animation style, said Shi, who grew up watching shows such as Sailor Moon, Pokemon, and Fruits Basket. Brown. Like The Owl House, Turning Red combines elements of both Western and Japanese media. The challenge for Turning Red was in combining elements of Japanese anime, which is visually more stylized and graphic, and generally two-dimensional, with Pixar's more Western three-dimensional CG style. But it was a challenge that everyone on the crew was really excited to explore. Anime fans will recognize some of the most obvious elements present in Turning Red, including how characters' eyes grow and twinkle when they're excited, as well as the color palette of the film's world. It's also reflected in certain camera angles, the lighting, and in the characters' movements. The colors of Sailor Moon and Magical Girl anime, we were hugely inspired by that, said she. There's just something so romantic and dreamy about those color palettes of those anime from the 90s that I really wanted to capture in the movie. Brown. She cites titles such as Ranma Half and Fruits Basket, two series where teens are cursed to transform between human and animal forms with specific triggers, as inspiration for the transformation rules and mechanics in Turning Red. I've always loved how fast and loose a lot of anime play with magical transformation, said she. They don't really explain too much of the rules of the magic, and everyone just kind of accepts it. We really borrowed that for our movie. Brown. In the video, Turning Red, director on how video games influenced the film, full interview on the Washington Post. She discusses her passion for video games and anime throughout her life, and how these influenced the film. Her experiences with it in her past were discussed, such as it being difficult to access and her looking through poorly dubbed bootleg anime DVDs at the mall. She mentioned that anime is so accessible now and nerd culture has become so mainstream. One of the questions that she was asked is what the version of herself in high school would think of all the anime culture that is coming up now. She expressed the excitement that she would have felt during high school and mentioned how now she sees Doja Cat and Billie Eilish expressing their interest in anime. This means that anime has gone from being barely accessible during the 1990s and early 2000s in the West to becoming a mainstream medium popular for American celebrities within a couple decades. Pixar, one of the most popular animation studios in America, now has an anime-influenced film in its library with Turning Red. With all the elements of Shi's inspiration from anime, the film essentially is a computer-animated anime film. Some anime-influenced Western animation has an art style that looks so identical to that of anime produced in Japan that it appears to be it. 5 examples of this are the television series Pantheon, Avatar: The Last Airbender, its sequel series Legend of Korra, The Boondocks, and Neo Yokio, all of which were created by American individuals and premiered in the United States. These 5 series have prominent foundations of anime in the characters' art style, which makes them anime. Western celebrities are in the voice cast of all 5 of these series. The latter 3 series had Japanese studios involved in animation services for production. Pierrot worked on The Legend of Korra. Madhouse worked on The Boondocks. Studio Dean and Production IG worked on Neo Yokio. This could make these 3 series considered to be anime that are co-productions. The definition of a co-production is anime that is co-produced between both Japanese and Western studios. This makes these productions simultaneously Japanese and Western anime. Afro Samurai is another example of a co-production. This series was created by a Japanese individual, Takashi Okazaki. It began as a manga and was later adapted into an anime television series. The anime of Afro Samurai has a Western celebrity member of its voice cast. Samuel L. Jackson voices the title character. The series does not have a Japanese dub, which is very rare for a Japanese-produced anime. Disney now owns an animated television series that is a co-production between Japanese and Western studios and is based on one of the most famous Western franchises. This television series is Star Wars Visions. Western advertising has also been inspired by anime as well. Miley Cyrus in Flora Fantasy, a commercial uploaded to Goosey's YouTube channel in 2021, is an advertisement featuring Miley Cyrus and her campaign of perfume Flora Fantasy with the company that is inspired by Japanese anime. The commercial features an animation with a persona of Miley Cyrus as an anime character. The video's description contains information about the advertisement's design and production. The animated portion of this advertisement is an anime co-production. Among the individuals who worked on it, the animation producer is Maki Terashima Furada, the president of Production IG USA, and animation production was done by Japanese studio Akatsuki. The word kawaii, the Japanese word for cute, is also included in the description. The description shows that this Western company enlisted people on the production team who are familiar with the aesthetics and culture of Japanese anime when creating this advertisement. Another example of anime and Western advertising is Disney's Chibi Tiny Tales, a series of shorts that premiered in 2020, airs in between programming on Disney Channel, and is uploaded online. These shorts feature characters from various live-action animated films and television series of Disney. Some of the franchises are known for their Western design, and some are anime-influenced television series that originated on Disney Channel, such as The Owl House. Specific facial expressions of Japanese-produced anime that represent specific emotions appear on the characters. In 2021, Disney and Pixar released an animated short online based on their film Up, titled Pixar Remix Up, as part of their series of animated shorts, Pixar Remix. The short is essentially an anime adaptation of the entire film condensed into a short that is just under 2 minutes long. In recent years, Disney and Pixar, some of the most famous studios of Western animation, have been influenced by anime more than ever before. Marvel and DC, some of the most famous companies of Western entertainment, have as well. Marvel Animation's 2017 television series Spider-Man and DC Studios' 2023 television series My Adventures with Superman are two more examples of Western animation that have an art style that looks identical to anime produced in Japan. Some companies do consider anime-influenced animation produced in the West to be anime. Netflix YouTube channel Netflix Anime contains videos of both anime produced in Japan and anime-influenced animation produced in the West. One of these videos is Shadow's introduction, Sonic Prime clip, Netflix Anime. The first clip uploaded on this channel from the computer animated television series Sonic Prime. The series is the sixth animated television series based on the Japanese video game series and media franchise Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic Prime is co-produced by Western and Japanese studios. These are Sega of America, American Animation Studio Netflix Animation, Canadian entertainment company Wildbrain Studios, American writer collective Man of Action Entertainment, and Sega's Japan-based CGI animation studio Marza Animation Planet. Marza Animation Planet has also worked on many of the cutscenes of Sonic games and Lupin the First. The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has both Japanese and Western produced animation. For example, Sonic X is a Japanese-produced anime and Sonic Boom is a computer animated series produced in the West. The fact that Netflix themselves considers anime-influenced animation produced in the West anime, such as Sonic Prime, by including clips from it on their YouTube channel Netflix Anime means that anime-influenced animation produced in the West is anime. Sonic Prime and Sonic Boom are computer animated anime. Sonic Boom is a computer animated anime because it is a computer animated series with the designs of the characters, and these characters have Japanese influence already in their designs. Ruby is another example of a Western television series with an art style and visual design that looks identical to anime produced in Japan. It is an American anime-influenced computer animated series created by Monty and produced by Rooster Teeth and the first American anime exported to Japan. As stated in Rooster Teeth's Ruby will be first American anime exported to Japan by Bree Brower. The production company just scored a deal with Warner Brothers Home Entertainment Japan to bring their hit anime program RWBY to Japan, where the show, starting with RWBY Volume 1, will be redubbed in Japanese for release on Blu-ray and DVD in 2015. Brower. For anime as a medium, this is a rarity. Usually it is vice versa, where anime is exported to the West and redubbed in English. 9 years after RWBY premiered in 2013, a Japanese-produced anime based on it premiered. This is RWBY Ice Queendom, produced by Shaft, which takes place in the continuity of RWBY Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is also a rarity for anime as a medium. As stated in RWBY, Ice Queendom becomes the first Western anime to be distributed in Japan by Animation Express Team. RWBY Ice Queendom will establish the world of RWBY before taking viewers on a brand new adventure that RWBY fans have never seen. Animation Express Team. This is not the first time that an American-produced franchise story was continued in a Japanese anime. The story of Disney's Lilo and Stitch was continued in the Japanese animated television series Stitch. Like Powerpuff Girls Z, Stitch is a Japanese anime based on an American franchise. Western animation has influenced the creation of Japanese anime just like Japanese anime has influenced the creation of Western anime. In the article Is It Anime by Christopher McDonald and published in 2002, the topic of what defines anime is discussed. A question is asked if animation with the style of Japanese anime that is produced outside of Japan or by individuals who are not Japanese is anime. This means that this topic was discussed almost 21 years ago. So anime means Japanese animation, right? But does it refer to the Japanese style of animation or only to animation produced in Japan? We all know that Cowboy Bebop is anime, but consider these possibilities. 1. A TV series made for an American company where the animation is subcontracted to a Japanese studio. 2. A TV series made for Japanese viewing where the animation is subcontracted to a Korean studio. 3. A TV series animated in North America by a group of Japanese animators from Japan. 4. A TV series animated in Japan by a group of Americans who have been working in Japan. McDonald. A large quantity of animation with anime's influence that was produced outside of Japan or by individuals who are not Japanese has released since 2002 when this article was published, such as some of the aforementioned titles. Like The Last Unicorn, this proves that anime is an internationally produced medium and has been for a long time. Imagine we found out that Cowboy Bebop had in fact been produced in America. Would it still be anime? Obviously that kind of situation will probably never occur, but the point is, what makes a cartoon anime? Is it its content or the people who and location where it was produced? McDonald. Will the amount of Western-produced anime continue to increase in the future? When considering the amount of it that exists already and the amount of passionate anime fans who live in the West, the answer seems to be that it will. More Japanese-produced anime exists than Western-produced anime. With many creatives all across the West who love anime, it is definitely possible for the quantity of the latter to increase over time. Anime is now an internationally produced medium, just as animation itself is an internationally produced medium. Anime has influenced the West's art and the West has influenced Japan's art. As stated by the creator of RWBY and feature, Inside Rooster Teeth's RWBY by Amanda Rush. Some believe just like Scotch needs to be made in Scotland, an American company can't make anime. I think that's a narrow way of seeing it. Anime is an art form, and to say only one country can make this art is wrong. Rush. Any animation with any influence from the foundations of anime's design is anime, no matter where it was produced or the nationality of the individuals who produced it.